The quarterly family lunch was Mom's idea, a way to stay connected despite busy schedules. Today's venue was an upscale steakhouse near my brother Marcus's office at Stratton Digital Solutions. "Jen, you really should apply to Stratton," Mom said as our appetizers arrived. Marcus could put in a word. "Excellent benefits." "I have a company, Mom," I said. "CloudSync. We provide enterprise cloud management software." Marcus laughed, loosening his tie. At 33 he never let me forget he was 3 years older. "Company? Come on, sis. You have what, 5 people working on some app?" 47 employees. Our software manages cloud infrastructure for over 300 enterprise clients. "Sure," he dismissed. "Dad, tell her. Real companies have office buildings, boardrooms, hierarchies. Not kids coding in coffee shops." What they didn't know, what they'd never bothered to learn despite 5 years of trying to explain, was that CloudSync had become one of the fastest-growing enterprise software companies in the region. Last year's revenue, $68 million. What they really didn't know was that Stratton Digital Solutions was in serious trouble. Outdated software. 3 major clients lost. Stock price down 40%. The board was desperately seeking a buyer. And what nobody at this table knew was that CloudSync had acquired Stratton 6 days ago. Contracts finalized this morning. Press release scheduled for 4 p.m., 2 hours from now. By tomorrow Marcus would work for a company I owned. "Jennifer needs to get serious," Aunt Lisa added from across the table. "He worked in HR at Stratton. Playing entrepreneur is fine in your 20s, but you're 30 now." "CloudSync just signed a partnership with AWS," I said mildly. "That's nice, honey." Mom patted my hand. "Marcus, tell everyone about your promotion." Marcus grinned. "VP of Technology. Youngest VP in Stratton's history if I get it. Announcement next month." There would be no announcement. There would be no independent Stratton next month. The brand would survive as my subsidiary, but everything else was changing. "See, that's a career path," Dad said. "Director to VP to C-suite. That's how you build wealth." "How much does your startup even make?" Marcus smirked. "Real numbers. Last year we cleared $68 million in revenue," I said calmly. "This year we're tracking toward $92 million. Silence. Marcus's smirk faltered. "You're exaggerating," he said finally. "We're a cloud infrastructure platform serving enterprise clients. Average contract value is $200,000 annually. We have 347 active clients. The math isn't complicated." "If that were true, Stratton would know about you," Aunt Lisa said dismissively. "Stratton does know. We beat you for Peterson Manufacturing last quarter. And Midwest Healthcare. And Continental Finance before that." Marcus went red. "Those were strategic decisions. We chose not to pursue those clients. You pursued them. Your bids were rejected because your software couldn't match our capabilities. Peterson's CTO told me directly that Stratton's technology was 5 years behind." "That's not true," Marcus snapped. "It is. Stratton's struggling, Marcus. Everyone in the industry knows. Stock down 40%. 3 major clients lost. Outdated technology stack." "How do you know all this?" Dad demanded. "I track competitors, analyze trends, study financial reports. It's called running a business." My phone buzzed. "My CFO, press release ready. 4 p.m. is planned. All docs finalized." I checked my watch. 2:47 p.m. 1 hour 13 minutes. "You think you're so smart," Marcus said tightly. "You dropped out of corporate to play entrepreneur. Work from home. Don't even have a real office. 3 offices actually. Seattle, Austin, Denver. Plus remote employees across 12 states. I work from home by choice. If your company was really successful, you'd be in the news," Aunt Lisa said. "People would know about you. We're B2B enterprise software. We don't need consumer recognition. Our clients know us. That's what matters." Mom jumped in. "Both of you have done well in your own ways. Marcus with his established career, Jennifer with her entrepreneurial spirit. Let's order." The conversation shifted to safer topics. But Marcus kept glancing at me, calculating, wondering if my revenue numbers were real. At 3:52 p.m. I returned from the restroom. My phone started buzzing constantly. Across the table Aunt Lisa's phone rang. Then Marcus's. That's odd, Aunt Lisa said. It's our CEO's office. On a Saturday. Marcus checked his phone. Urgent email from corporate communications. What the hell? They opened their messages. I watched their faces carefully. Aunt Lisa went pale. Marcus's mouth fell open. This is a joke, Marcus said hollowly. This has to be. What's wrong? Dad asked. Email from Stratton so, Marcus read slowly. Company-wide announcement. Stratton Digital Solutions has been acquired by. He looked at me shocked. CloudSync Incorporated. The table went silent. That's your company, Mom said confused. Jennifer, what is this? An acquisition. CloudSync bought Stratton Digital Solutions. The deal closed this morning. I signed the final papers before lunch. You bought Stratton? Dad repeated. For $89 million. Stratton's board accepted our offer 3 weeks ago. Contracts finalized today. Marcus stood abruptly, chair scraping. You bought my company? It wasn't your company, Marcus. You were an employee. Now you're an employee of a CloudSync subsidiary. This is insane, Aunt Lisa scrolled frantically. There are news articles. Bloomberg, TechCrunch. This is real. Very real. Press release went out at 4 p.m. as scheduled. As scheduled. Marcus's voice rose. You knew during lunch. You sat here listening to me talk about my promotion while you just bought the entire company. You were talking about a promotion that's not happening. Stratton's management is being reorganized. All leadership under review. Your interview is Tuesday at 10 a.m. with my VP of Operations. Interview? For my own job. For a position at CloudSync. Your old job doesn't exist. We're integrating Stratton's team into CloudSync structure. If you're qualified and a good fit, there's a role. If not, generous severance. This is his brother, Dad protested. Keep him in his role. That's not how acquisitions work. We're not buying Stratton to maintain the status quo. We're fixing their problems. That requires restructuring. Fixing. Aunt Lisa said sharply. Stratton isn't failing. Stock down 40%. 3 major clients lost. Outdated technology. Hemorrhaging money on inefficient infrastructure. Client satisfaction scores are industry lowest. You were failing. That's why your board accepted our offer. Mom looked stricken. But you said you were playing with apps. A small startup. I said I run an enterprise software company. I've said that for 5 years. You heard, playing with apps because that fit your narrative better. What happens to me? Aunt Lisa asked quietly. HR will be restructured. We have our own systems. Your position will likely be eliminated, but we'll offer outplacement services and severance based on tenure. You're firing me? I'm family. I'm streamlining redundant positions. You'll be treated fairly, same as any employee. But I won't keep unnecessary positions because we're related. Marcus sat heavily. My little sister just bought my company. I bought it from a board who needed help. You were an employee who didn't know your company was for sale. That should tell you something. Nobody was eating. Dad kept shaking his head. Mom dabbed her eyes. The interview Tuesday, Marcus said finally. What kind of role? Depends on your skills. We need senior engineers who can learn new systems. Project managers who handle complex integrations. People who adapt and grow. Not people who think they know everything and refuse to learn. Are you saying I think I know everything? You spent 5 years telling me my work wasn't real while your company collapsed. You mocked my startup while I built something that would buy your employer. Yes, I'm concerned about your ability to adapt. Aunt Lisa stood. I need to go. Call someone. My manager. HR. HR at Stratton can't help anymore. They're transitioning out too. You'll receive an email Monday with severance details. I made sure it's generous. She left without another word. Dad finally spoke. Why didn't you tell us? If your company was this successful, why keep it secret? It wasn't secret. I told you. Every family dinner for 5 years. You didn't listen. You compared me to Marcus, told me to get a real job, said I was wasting time. We didn't understand, Mom said weakly. You didn't try. When Marcus talked about work, you asked questions. When I talked, you changed the subject or gave unsolicited advice. You decided my path wasn't valid without ever learning what it actually was. Marcus stared at his phone. Trade publications call you a rising star. Forbes had you on 30 under 32 years ago. How did we not know? Because you never Googled my company. Never asked to visit my office or meet my team. You were so certain I was unsuccessful that you never bothered to check. What happens now? Marcus asked quietly. You decide if you want to work for CloudSync. Come Tuesday with an open mind. Be honest about your skills and limitations. Show me you can learn. If you can, there's a place for you. And if I can't? We part ways professionally. You'll find another job. You're talented, Marcus. But it won't be the Stratton you knew because that company doesn't exist anymore. I stood. I need to get back. We have integration work ahead. Lunch is on me. I placed $300 on the table. Jennifer, wait, Mom said. Can we talk? Really talk? About your company, everything we missed. I'd like that. But not today. Today I have 200 Stratton employees who are scared, and they deserve my attention. Let's schedule next week. A real conversation where you ask questions and listen. Okay, she said, tears falling. I'm sorry we didn't listen before. I know. But Mom, I'm not upset you didn't know. I'm disappointed you didn't care enough to find out. Tuesday came. Marcus showed up early, suited, carrying a portfolio. My VP of Operations, Stratton, conducted the interview while I watched remotely. Marcus was humble. He acknowledged his limited understanding of modern cloud architecture. Admitted Stratton's technology had fallen behind. Asked intelligent questions about CloudSync systems. Why do you want to work here? Sarah asked. Marcus paused. Because my sister built something impressive and I was too proud to see it. I want to learn from people better than me. Be part of something actually innovative. After Sarah came to my office. He's salvageable. Needs humility training and serious upskilling, but the raw talent's there. Senior engineer role, not management. Let him rebuild. Offer him the position. 3-month probation, clear metrics, mandatory training. Marcus accepted. The transition wasn't easy. Ego surfaced, conflicts arose, struggles with younger engineers. But slowly he adapted. 6 months later at Sunday dinner, Marcus talked enthusiastically about his cloud migration project. The architecture is elegant, he said. I'm learning so much. Sarah's brilliant. How's the culture different? Dad asked. Night and day. At Stratton we talked about innovation but never innovated. At CloudSync we build things that matter. It's humbling. I thought I was a hotshot. Turns out I had a lot to learn. Mom smiled at me. Tell us about the Europe expansion. I did. And they listened. Really listened. Asked questions. Wanted to understand. It wasn't perfect. Old patterns don't disappear overnight. But it was real. My playing with apps had acquired their corporation. My wasting time on that startup had created hundreds of jobs and millions in value. But the real victory wasn't the acquisition or proving them wrong. It was watching my family finally see me clearly and respect the path I'd chosen, even if it looked nothing like what they'd envisioned. Success comes in many forms. But the sweetest is the success you define for yourself, regardless of whether anyone understands it. Until the day they have no choice but to understand.